Oh, good evening and welcome back to the Phightins Final here on the Edge Phillies Sports with your boy Matty B on the road in Beantown. As I said on my show the other night, I was scheduled to host, and here I am. It doesn't matter if I'm traveling; I'm going to come at you with the greatest of Philadelphia Phillies post-game entertainment. And boy, oh boy, did I pick a good night to be the host. The Phillies. Last night I really thought they were going to hang on to that game. I really thought that the offense was starting to kind of click a little bit. They got a decent night out of Aaron Nola, not the best night. Nola obviously has got to figure out how to keep the damn ball in the yard. But tonight, in a game that I thought was actually less winnable than last night, the Phillies found a way to get the offense continue the roll, and they found a way to win 6-4 over the Atlanta Braves. And then that's, as I mentioned this as well, these next 10 games. This is going to tell you a lot about the Phillies in 2023. And tonight, boy, told me a little bit I needed to know. And the Phillies have mentioned 6-4 victories over the Atlanta Braves. And a lot to talk about in this game. And let's get into the box score right now. How the scoring went down. This one, the Phillies would get things going early in the third inning. Nick Castellanos with his first triple as a member of the Philadelphia Phillies. Is also his first triple since 2021, would knock in Bryson Stott and Trey Turner to make it 2-0 Phillies. That would remain till the top of the fourth, or the bottom of the fourth, when Rosario would knock in Travis Armando and scoring him on the sac fly, 2-1 Phillies. And then Harrison the fifth would homer a 2-run shot, giving the Braves the 3-2 lead. And then up to that point, folks, I was really, Ty Walker okay. I didn't necessarily think he was doing great, but he was pitching okay. And up to that point, I really thought that the game was it was winnable, but I just was not feeling Ty Walker. I wasn't feeling him. But so the Phillies are trailing now at this point, 3-2. And what's going on here? I got a lot of stuff happening. Let me turn that off for you. I apologize. It's live TV. So 3-2 Braves. Then the Phillies would strike, and they would get back on top for good. In the sixth inning, Brandon Marsh would knock in Nick Castellanos and JT Realmuto to make it 4-3. It was a bases-loaded single that scored those two runs. Trey Turner then would continue his resurgence in the seventh inning with a double to knock in Bryson Stott, 5-2. Bryce Harper would hit a sac fly, knocking Trey Turner in 6-3 to seventh. And then got a little dicey in the eighth inning. Ozuna would homer to make it 6-4, but Craig Kimbrell would be called upon in the ninth inning, and he would get it locked down. His sixth save of the season, and more importantly, his 400th of his career. So congratulations to Craig Kimbrell on his 400th career save, as the Phillies would find a way to win. Now 23-27 on the season, back to 7 games out of first place, and a huge victory tonight out there in Atlanta for the Phillies, as this 10-game road trip continues. Really, it's going to be interesting. Let's take you around the rest of Major League Baseball on this Friday night here. I hope you're enjoying your Memorial Day weekend, by the way. I hope things are working out well for you. As I mentioned, I'm on the road, but you know what? I enjoy the life that I live. But so let's talk about some of the scores around baseball tonight. Let me see if it comes up here. Out there in Milwaukee, it is 14-1 Giants over the Brewers as they're moving into the bottom of the seventh. In the top of the eighth inning, it's Blue Jays 3-1 over the Twins. In the bottom of the seventh, you got the Nationals 9-5 over the Royals. In the sixth inning, you got Mets up on the Rockies 4-1. Top of the third, out in Anaheim, the Marlins are up 2-0 over the Angels. In the bottom of the third, in Arizona, 3-0 Diamondbacks over the Boston Red Sox, I should say 3-0 over the Diamondbacks. Top of the third in Oakland, 2-0 Astros. Top of the second in Seattle, the Pirates and Mariners are tied up at 1. Earlier games that have gone final, the Reds all over the Cubs, 9-0. The White Sox over the Tigers, 12-3. The Braves over the Dodgers, 9-3. Padres over the Yankees, 5-1. And the Rangers over the Orioles, 12-2. And wrapping things up on your Friday night, the Cleveland Guardians defeat the St. Louis Cardinals 4-3. And the big news, of course, the Phillies tonight, 6-4 winners. And a huge game, a game that we needed to have. And a game, as I mentioned from last night, to me was less winnable than last night's game was, as we continue to bounce along in this very Jekyll and Hyde type of season that the Phillies have been having. And what are you going to do here? Because, hey, this is what we need. We need to win these games. We need to win these games. Steven checking in with lose that game tonight, and you're only one game ahead of Joe G's firing point. Actually, I'm going to comment on that in a second, Steven. Hopefully, these steals by Stott are a sign of more stolen bases. We're seeing, as you know, Steven, the Phillies as in general for the season have been stealing bases. I think they're close to 30 now for the team as a team, and I'm not that really off on that. I believe they're about 15 ahead of where they were last season at this point. So the Phillies have not been a very base stealing happy team over the last few years, and I don't know if that's analytics or if that's the members of this team, but you're right. Seeing some more steals and seeing active stolen bases every night is definitely something you want to look for. That's small ball. That's how you kind of win without hitting home runs, as everybody knows that. But let's get back to what Steven's comment here was. You lose that game tonight, and you're only one game ahead of Joe G's firing point. Steven, listen. And I'm as guilty as anybody at this. I've been consistently looking back at last year, trying to assuage myself the grief of what the team has been putting me through this year, and I've been trying to find kind of common ground to make me feel better about the state of the Phillies and where they are at game 51 of the season. But here's the problem, Steven. This is not the same team. This is not the same situation as last year. The Phillies are actually better in areas that they were not in last year, but then again, they're worse in some other areas that they were better at last year. So the kind of, and again, I do it too. I'm trying to find myself an interesting comfort point when it comes to this team, and I understand what you mean, and maybe I don't. I'm looking at it more of a Rob Thompson thing. I'm not the biggest Rob Thompson supporter, and I'm really kind of losing patience with him. And I'm not advocating his firing, but I think I understand what you mean. But I think we also, as fan base, need to stop with the comparison of the 2022 and 2023 Phillies. Even though, and I understand why we do it to kind of give ourselves a little bit of make ourselves feel a little bit better. But 23 and 27 is not where you wanted to be at this stage of May. It's not. They're 9 and 13 for the month of May. That's god awful. May is the month in the baseball calendar where you're supposed to kind of continue or build on momentum. You're supposed to kind of start separating yourself. You're supposed to start building on some successes from April. Phillies have not done that. They've been wildly inconsistent. We don't know from night to night or day to day what team is going to show up here, but tonight is a huge victory. We've talked about this. The next 10 games is going to define what this team is. It's not necessarily going to tell you who's going to, what this team will be in reference like the winner or the loser, if they're going to the playoffs or not. But after this 10-game stretch, you're going to know a lot more faux show about what the Phillies are heading deeper into the month of June and July. And as of tomorrow, let's talk about tomorrow's game. Tomorrow's game will be seen nationally, folks. That's right. The Phillies got the national game tomorrow on FS1, 4:10 start. Zach Wheeler takes it in for 4.11 ERA, and he'll be opposed by Charlie Morton and his 5.4 3.61 ERA. Let's get back, though, into the box score because I wanted to kind of hit on a few things you mentioned earlier on, but the Ty Walker start. Now, Ty was, for some odd reason, he lasts 6.5 innings. I don't know how he actually did that. He scatters 10 hits throughout those 6.5 innings. 3 runs, they were all earned. He had a walk and a strikeout. Was bailed out with some defense. Was bailed out by some stupid base running by the Atlanta Braves. I don't know if you guys saw this back in the second inning when the Braves had second and third, nobody out, and ran themselves into just about an inning-killing double play. But, hey, we'll take it, right? Ty Walker will take it absolutely the way he's pitched this season. But he went 6.5. Matt Strom and Craig Kimbrell, as I mentioned, came on to close the door for the Phillies as the bullpen pitched well again tonight. Strom did give up that home run to Ozuna in the 8th, but Kimbrell gave up a walk, but that was kind of questionable on the pitch count or the pitch selection. But and again, Kimbrell with his 400th career save. Offensive standouts for your Phillies tonight. Let's get to that top of that order. Bryson Stott 2 for 3 with 2 runs, 2 walks. Trey Turner 1 for 4, yes, but he scored 2 runs and he got on and he did have a walk, so he was on base 3 times. And that is key right now as he tries to kind of slug his way out of his season slump. Nick Castellanos 2 for 5 with a run, 2 RBIs on that triple. Kyle Schwarber. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about it, man. Kyle friggin' Schwarber, 0 for 4 tonight with a walk and a strikeout. The man's batting average is down to 169. Tell me again why he's here. Tell me again why Kyle Schwarber is part of this team, batting 160 friggin' 9. And don't give me June's coming. I don't want to hear that. 169, and he's an everyday player. He hasn't been given a day off. He's not been benched. He's an everyday guy who's batting 169. He's an automatic friggin' out. Why? Why is Kyle Schwarber still in our lineup? Batting 169, everybody. 169. Did I mention he's batting 169? Wow. Let me get off my Kyle Schwarber rant. Getting someone like Taijuan Walker doesn't help anyone's consistency situation. I disagree, Steven. 100% disagree. Taijuan Walker was an innings eater with the Mets. He has fatigue arm problems, but those typically don't raise their ugly heads till August. Taijuan Walker has not been good. He has not been good. I give you that. Look at Zach Eflin this year. I wish he was still here. Okay, let's talk about Zach Eflin. Again, I mentioned this on my program over and over again. The plan, obviously, to not go after or bring back Zach Eflin and listen, we can 2020 this or hindsight this all you want, Steven, but Zach Eflin was relegated to the bullpen last year because of injury concerns, because of durability concerns. Now, I get it. 1 year is not the next, but he was asking for a lot of money. But you know what? I wasn't complaining in the winter when they moved on from Zach Eflin. And obviously, Eflin's having a great year, and Taijuan Walker currently is not having a great year. We can troubleshoot that back and forth, but a number 3 starter in our rotation should not be the reason our season has been kind of submarine. And it's not the reason. He's part of the reason, but he's not fully the reason of why things are bad. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I don't want Taijuan Walker. I wanted him back in the winter, and I want to lay in that bed. Not that Eflin was the most consistent here in his career. And again, we mentioned that. I mentioned the injury issue. So, but getting back to Steven's point about comparison of the team and finishing up that point, I think it's fair, and I don't think it's fair at the same time. Let the 2022 Philadelphia Phillies be. And let's kind of go through what the 2023 Phillies are. And what they are is what their record indicates. A team that's 3 games under 500, 7 games out of first place, heading into the end of May. 9-13 on the month. Not a very consistent team. A team full of holes. A team with their left fielder is batting 169, everybody. Kyle Schwarber is batting now 169. And yet he plays every day. So let's give the comparisons a break. But out there, of course, this is the start of the Memorial Day holiday weekend, and I know you guys are out there enjoying yourselves, and I want to thank you for coming on with me, spending a few minutes with me here on the Phightins Final, and to give you a lockdown guarantee that we are going absolutely nowhere. We will be with you all weekend long in one way or another here on the Phightins Final and other shows on the network. We are not sleeping because it's a holiday. Tomorrow, you got the Patterson Ave Fanatics, and then again the Phightins Final. I believe Mike is on the Phightins Final tomorrow. I could be wrong. And then on Sunday, PM and the AM, all across all the time, and then finishing up your Memorial Day Sunday with the Phightins Final after the Phillies Braves game it's the ESPN game, and it'll be me. I will be back in Philadelphia wrapping up that game for you. As my trip in Boston will be over at that point, and I'll be heading back home sometime Sunday afternoon. But I will be back to make sure that we bring you the Phightins Final on Sunday night as we head into the Memorial Day holiday itself. And don't forget, Philly Sports Strips has you covered when it comes to the Eagles, Flyers, Sixers, Phillies, Union. I don't know. Did they do anything with the Wings? Or no, they don't do anything with the Stars. But you know what? You got the point. They got you covered with the 4 majors. Head over to phillysportstrips.com. Check out all they have to offer. And as I mentioned, as you're making merry this weekend, remember, if you wake up Tuesday morning and you have workman's compensation, motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or criminal law questions or concerns, Dave Cherry at 610-565-0300 is the man you got to call. Trust me, bad news is not going to go away. You got to face it. Give Dave Cherry a call, and you guys can face it together. And if you're looking for those hard-to-find, great price sports concerts or theater venue tickets, look no further than Sherry's Tickets Town at www.sherrystickets.com. Family owned and operated since 1946. save an additional 10% when you enter the promo code EOP10. And if you're not going out of town this weekend, spend some time down there at Dolan's at 24 East Sellers Ave in Ridley Park and tell PJ and the crew that EOP sent you. Folks, it is a great honor, as I mentioned, to be here on the Phightins Final, and it's also a great honor to be here when they win. And that is the important part. 6-4 over the Braves. Back to 3 games under 500. Back to 7 games out of 500. And we got to keep it rolling. We got to keep it rolling. Tomorrow, Zach Wheeler, we have an opportunity to continue to build on this. Now, we don't deal well with Charlie Morton for some odd reason. We need to change that narrative. We've had an opportunity to beat up on some young Braves pitching over the last 2 nights. Tomorrow, we're going to get back into that veteran presence of the Braves. And we got to continue this train rolling. We got to take 3 out of 4 from the Braves. We got to take 3 out of 4 from the Braves. We got to take 2 out of 3 from the Mets. And we got to sweep out the daggone Nationals. We got to play ourselves back into this divisional race. And now it starts tonight. We got started on that with the win. Let's keep it rolling through the weekend and on into next week as well. Folks, I am Braves are generally on a skid. Not winning the series is unacceptable. Absolutely, Stephen. I agree with you. Absolutely. And one last thing about the Braves before I leave you this evening. The combination of Ronald Acuna, Matt Olson, and Austin Riley, the 1, 2, and 3 members of the Brave lineup tonight, went a vaunted 1 for 12 with a walk and strikeout. So Phillies pitching did their job against the 3 batters that matters most in this lineup. 1 for 12 were Acuna, Olson, and Riley tonight. So good job. Taijuan Walker, again, we got to give credit where the credit is due. He didn't pitch well, but he pitched well enough. And maybe that's what Taijuan Walker is. And that's not typically your third starter, but you know what? Maybe that's what he is, as he scatters 10 hits over 6.5 innings, and he gets the no decision. So, folks, that is going to wrap me up tonight. I want to thank you again. I want to wish you guys a happy, safe Memorial Day weekend. Continue doing what you got to do. We will be back with you tomorrow after the game, around 7:30-ish, whenever the game goes final. And then we got you covered the rest of the weekend. Please make sure you're checking back in with EOP. We never sleep here. Holiday or no holiday, we're going to be coming at you. That is going to do me. Not yet. I got one more thing. Harry the K. What you got?
He has high hopes. He has high hopes. He has high apple pie in the sky.